outstanding before interest and taxes is 27,60,000. 27,60,000 यहाँ पर 16,40,000. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Do like, share and subscribe. Yes guys, I'm back. Welcome to the channel guys. Do like, share and subscribe. Hello guys, welcome to the channel everyone. TVC Manufacture Limited is a mid-sized engineering and fabrication company that supplies the precision components of the automobile and heavy machinery sector in order to maintain the competitiveness and expand its market, and the company has proposed a new capital investment project involving a process of purchase and installation of the advanced computer numerical control CNC machines and automated assembly line. The estimated cost of the project is to finance the partly through the internal accruals and largely through the term loans from the XYZ Bank. ABC Manufacturing has approached the bank requesting the project financing of the initial outlay. This seating citing a strong growth potential in the demand of the precision engineering financial project. ABC Manufacturing, the company is cover the initial investment with that in time frame without considering the time value of money. The discounted payback period is calculated at 7 years after The discounting project cash inflows at the weighted average cost of capital. Now the project's modified internal rate of return is projected 10.9%. Yes, you got it. I can see there were so many people, but they all left now. I think. Yes, there are only 4 people watching live to us. The discounted payback period is calculated at 7 years. At 7 years after the discounting project cash inflows at the weighted average cost of capital, the project modified internal rate of return is projected 10.9. How much that is, which is much lower than the incremental borrowing rate. The terminal value of the annual cash inflows reinvested at the rate of 10 is 1143 589. Now only 2 people left. The cash inflows are expected to be received equally and steadily at the end of the every year over the life of the asset. However, the same cash inflows are expected to be received even after the simple payback period due to the inefficiency gains, market expansion, and the economies of the sale round of initial investment to the nearest lakhs. The EBC Manufacturing argues that the project is strategically essential for the long-term survival in the competitive industry. The simple payback of 5 years indicates that the investment risk is acceptable, although the discounted payback of 7 years is relatively long. The project will continue to generate the positive inflows 1 year beyond this period. The marginal internal rate of return of 10.9% should be interpreted in the light of the industry cyclicality, expected market growth, and non-financial benefits such as improved brand reputation, the quality standards. Bank concern the credit appraisal. Oh my god. The credit appraisal team of the XYZ Reliance Payback method alone ignores the long-term profitability and the respect of the industry volatility, competition, and the technological obsolescence may affect the reliability of the projected cash flows. The credit team must now prepare the recommendation on whether to finance the project, and if so under what condition. Assuming you were the credit analyst, prepare the significant justification report with a reason argument based on the other financial consideration, namely PI and PVP. Note the annual rate of return. Use the formula of the profit after tax. Consider the following: present value annuity factor 9% for 7 years, and which equals to 5, and present value annuity factor 9% for it is 5.5. Are equal over the life of the asset. If the cash flows are equal over the life of the asset, the initial investment is equals to 1 plus MIRR is to 1, which is equals to cash flow after tax into future value. Annuity for terminal value is equals to cash flow after tax into future. This initial investment is 5,000 rounded up to the nearest lakh. Under the simple payback period, if the cash flows are equal over the life of the asset, the payback period is equals to total initial capital investment upon the annual expected after the tax net cash flows. Now the initial investment, the cash flow after tax into present value annuity factor at the rate weighted average cost of capital for 7 years. 5 lakh is equals to 1 lakh into present value identified at the rate of weighted average cost of capital percentage for 7 is 5 now, so 9%. That's sum of the present value of the cash includes managed cost of the project. guys. कौन है लाइक वर्किंग? 3 people are watching live. For the year ending on 31st March 2025, AP Industries Limited declared 40% dividend. 40% dividend. The current market price of the share is for 57.50. If the retention ratio is reduced by 20%, if the retention ratio is reduced. RTP, Financial Management RTP. The current market price of the share is now the retention ratio is reduced by 20%. The market price dropped by 2.50. The face value of the shares is rupees 10 per share. Find the return on the investment and the cost of the equity using the Walters model. Comment on the dividend policy adopted by the company. Find out the limiting value of the shares using the Walter model. Also find out the intrinsic value of the shares under the Gordon's model. Mr. X, the chief financial officer of the company, opines. Rise under the water model is D plus R by R retention upon P upon Q into the minus G. To find the limiting value of the shares using the Walters model, liquidity shares is the retention ratio is the value dividend per share is daily. Features of the Bulldog model, it is denominated in the Bulldog pound sterling Great Britain pound, then the issued in London. The issuer non-UK company, the regulation Great Britain, the purpose, the access of the capital available in UK market. Issue proceeds can be used to fund the UK operation. Issue proceeds can be used in the funds of a company in the local opportunity or spontaneous sources of the finance are those which naturally arise in the course of the business operation. Trade credit from the employees, credit from the suppliers of the services, etc. are the same of this example which may be quoted in this respect. Now the spontaneous sources of the finance. Trade credit is receivable accrued expenses. Overcapitalization arises due to the reasons raising more money to the issue of the shares or the debentures, and the company can employ profitability, borrowing huge amount at the higher rate than the rate at which the company can earn the excessive payments for the acquisition of the fictitious assets such as goodwill, etc. The improper provisions for the depreciation and replacement of the assets and distribution of the dividends at the high rate and highlight the wrong estimation of the earnings and capitalization disadvantages of the profit maximization objectives of the financial management. The emphasis the short-term gains, ignores the risk or the uncertainty, ignores the timing of the returns. Timing of the returns requires immediate resources. Financial management के बाद strategic management का topic है. Based on the above questions, answer the multiple question after the move to India. Helpful and decided to align the innovations with the sustainability under the theme of the holistic innovations. Which level of the strategy does the shift primarily corporate level, business level strategy, functional level, operational level strategy, holistic innovations? It is a business level, I think. The strategic move by the helpful shift its existing AI services into the new Indian geographical market is a clear application of which grand strategy, market penetration, market development, product development, retrenchment. I think it is a retrenchment. Second category. Market development. The Helmut's initial structure, characterized by the highly dispersed team of scholars, relies heavily on the coordination through the technology and the contracts. This structural design is most accurately identified as divisional structure matrix. Helmut's initial structure, characterized by highly dispersed team of the scholars, strategic business unit SBU. Third person. Network structure. The public perceptions and the ethical backlash concerning the environmental damage and the technological unemployment, which severely impacted Halfor's operation in the West are analyzed under which factor of the pestle analysis. Owning premises of offering the futuristic high value add AI voice solution at its primary client appeal in an example of establishing a competitive advantage through the cost leadership by optimizing the production cost, differentiation by providing a uniquely valuable product, focused cost leadership by targeting the narrow segment with the lowest price, core values by adhering the ethical standards. Amidst as electronics firm notices the rapid increase in the demand for the smartphones, smart home and IoT devices, it has decided to redesign its product in line into cater specifically and competitors and still hesitant reactive strategy. EcoRide Motors, an Indian electric scooter company, faces the rising competitions from the new electronic vehicle startup offering the affordable models. The battery suppliers have raised the cost due to the global shortages, while customers now compare the multiple brands online there before the purchase. The traditional petrol scooters manufacturers are also entering the EV segments. EcoRide struggles to maintain the profitability despite growing market demand, which forces poses the greatest threat to the EcoRide's profitability. Threats of the substitute bargaining power of the supply. The EcoRide is an into this is the rising competition from the new electronic vehicles. It is a rivalry bargaining power threat of the substitute. Now, a financial services company wants to launch a Mobile first platform. The strategy is clearly defined. The system for the operations for the operations are automated. However, the employees are unfamiliar with the technology, and the leadership style emphasizes the strict hierarchy, slowing down the decision making. The management wants to ensure the new digital initiative succeeds without the resistance or the delays. With 7 elements need to be urgent, eliminated skills and style structure and staff shared values and the system strategy and structure. Skills and style not in an Indian automobile industry. Firms like Speedo Motors and the Turbo Auto compete in the mid-range car segment, they focusing on fuel efficiency. Meanwhile, the LuxDrive is a light motor dominate the premium segment, emphasizing the luxury and the advanced technology. Each group follows the distinct pricing and the marketing strategies, and movement between these segments is limited due to the brand perceptions and the research and development cost. What does the scenario best illustrate strategic alliances, strategic group mapping, value chain analysis, core competence core competence identification. Fifth का B well, strategy group mapping now. Technova Inc. are leading US robotic company partners with the Mactron Indian Private Limited to jointly design and manufacture the affordable industries. Guys, how many people are there in live? Guys, are you all there? See, what did are you there? Parky, are you there? Okay. Should I end this live session? I think 62%. At Technova Inc., a leading US robotic company, partners with the Metron Private Limited to jointly design and manufacture the affordable industry robots for the South Asian market. Both companies agreed to share the technology, production facility, and marketing channels to accelerate the market entry and reduce the cost. What type of strategy is see what should I end this session? What type of strategy is technology, joint venture, market penetration, strategic alliances, and diversification? Sixth class C, strategic alliances. Beverages is a rapidly bottled water and healthy drinks company facing a fierce competition from the new entrants offering the organic flavored and eco-friendly alternatives. This has made it challenging customers to establish shopping brands. The company identified the strategic level that represents the Somnia's role of equity. The company has adopted pointed Miss and need a company forward the sales and the marketing manager Miss Somnia needs her to design a creative and innovative advertising campaigns to gain a competitive edge. Okay. Okay guys, now let's just end this session. So bye bye.